All right, I wanted to talk about design options, which Revit has in order to give you an environment to test different versions of your model. Revit has a difficult time, as you might imagine, making multiple copies of the same model, so you can make variations of it. You can always do a save as and work on it there and have the old one as your backup, but there is an environment in here that allows you to do testing of different iterations of things. So in this case, I'm going to make a different version of the walls and roof. And we're going to do that using design options. So down in the bottom is a little radio right here. And if you hover over it, it will say design options. And I'm going to left click on that. And I'm going to create a new option set. And it's going to create the option set with one option. And then I'm going to go ahead and create another option by going to New here under Option. So now I have Option 1 and Option 2 under Option Set 1. I'm going to pick Option Set 1 and I'm going to rename it. And I'm going to name it Walls and Roof. Okay. Then I'm going to close this. Then I'm going to come in and pick the items that I want to work on in the option. So I'm going to pick the window because you need to pick the hosted objects as well as the host. And then I'm going to pick the beams because they're going to change in one of the versions. And then I'm going to scroll in and I'm going to pick the roof and I'm going to pick this other wall. All right. And I'm going to come down here, and since I have created a design option set, it gives me the option to add to set. So I'm going to click on add to set. And I'm going to add it to both option 1 and option 2. Okay, so it's going to make basically copies of those things into these options. I'm going to click OK, and it's going to do that. Now, when I hover over those things now in the model, I'm unable to select them because it excludes option selection by default here. And it wants you really to work on the options inside the option itself. So now I have main model, I have the option set walls and roof. I'm sorry you can't see this. I guess I should pull this up maybe. See if I can get this guy up here. If I go to main model, I have walls and roof, option 1 primary and option 2. The primary is the one that's showing when the main model is current. So let me go ahead and work with this for a little while and I think it'll make more sense. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to option 2. So I'm picking option 2 from the pull down, and I'm just going to delete the roof, and I'm going to delete this wall, and I'm going to delete the beams, right? Now if I go back to option 1 in the pull down, that is still there. So option 2, option 1. So while in option 2, I'm going to come and pick that wall and mirror it. So now if I go back to that, I have in option 2, I have the walls exactly in the same orientation. I'm going to come down and go to my east elevation, and I'm going to make a roof by extrusion here. So I'll zoom in a little bit, and while in option 2, if I make a roof by extrusion, it will only show up in option 2. So roof by extrusion, that's all fine. I'm going to go to my pick lines, and I'm going to pick there, 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 and there. Go to modify to stop the pick line. Select that and pull it up. Oops, somewhere over here. We want it to be kind of at the bottom of that. And that's good, so I'll hit check. Right, and I'll go to back to my 3D view. And we got a couple of things we need to do. We need to change that plumb cut to a square, so it gets rid of that. And then I'm going to use the shortcut to the align command, AL. I'm going to pick the inside face by tabbing through of that and pick that. And then I'm going to come through and pick this guy, kind of pull it off, and then do the align AL shortcut. And whoops, AL again. And I want to pick the inside face of that wall and align that to it. Okay, so now I have sort of a different version of that model. So I'm in option 2. If I go to option 1, I still have that other version, right? Which works quite well. And then if I go to the main model, I have access to all the other modeling elements, but it uses the primary option to show. in the main model. So if I pull this up a little bit and I go to this pull down, whatever is set as primary will show up when the main model is current. So let me pull this down again. And if I go to walls and roof and I go to option 2 and I say make primary, it'll give me some error messages that some things have changed that are different, and you can close that and click close. And now the main model is showing the second option because that second option is primary right here, but option 1 is still there, right? So you can sort of flip between what's your main model and what's not. Whatever's being shown as primary in the main model will show up in all your views, right? So now if I go to east elevation and I go to wireframe, or sorry, go to hidden line, that's my east elevation. And if I scroll down to my composition sheet, everything that you see will be based on that option. So now if I come in here and flip to option 1, you'll see it all update to option 1. So option 2, option 1. Pretty powerful stuff, right? So you can do it for this or for interior walls for just about anything. Okay, so a really interesting and effective way to do design tests, right? So back to the main model. All right.